In the late 1700s, America was a new country. They were interested in making a new government that was not only going to be effective, but was going to be efficient, right, and fair for all for generations to come. In deciding what the new government should be, they looked upon what happened in the past with Roman Senate and other generations, and they also looked at what was in the future and what would work best for our new country. They decided to make 3 different branches of government to always have the powers of government balanced. The 3 branches of government are going to be your legislative branch, judicial branch, and executive branch. The legislative branch is nothing more than just like the bicameral legislature that was taking place in England. If you are familiar with that, bicameral legislature consists of 2 houses. Our houses in America are the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives caters to more of the populated states. In the beginning of America, there were many populated states, such as New York, that wanted representation through population. They felt as though, since they had more people, they should have more of a voice in government, and therefore they should get away with more. Smaller populated states like South Carolina were in favor of a Senate. They wanted to have the same number of people representing each state because they felt like every state had their own voice to be heard. In solving all of this, we did a lot of quick thinking, and our forefathers decided that we would have 2 different houses. The House of Representatives today caters to 435 different people from all 50 states. These people represent each state, and in Louisiana we have 7 different people serving in our House of Representatives. Those people, just to be familiar with them, are Joseph Cowell, Charlie Melanson, Steve Scalise, Charles Boustany, Rodney Alexander, John Fleming, and Bill Cassidy. There are many other representatives in every state, and the representative number goes up a lot in states like California, New York, Texas, and Florida. Our Senate is composed of 2 people, as it is in every state. So there are currently 100 senators for the 50 states that we currently have in the Union. Our senators would be Mary Landrieu and David Benner. Next is the judicial branch. The judicial branch, though highly overlooked, is probably one of our most important branches in the government. It is our court system, and they are responsible for upholding the law of the land. The judicial court system starts out with the small courts, such as your city courts and your federal district courts. Those are things that are appealed, possibly, but most of the time it's just people suing for damages and blah blah that a judge will remediate over. Next, you're going to have your appellate courts. Your appellate courts, if a case goes past that, will finally go to your Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the law of the land and is the highest part of the judicial branch. There are currently 8 associate justices on the Supreme Court and 1 chief justice. Some of our justices, they are appointed for life, and they typically don't retire until they're just too old to stay on anymore. They are appointed by the president, and they're confirmed by our Congress, which is our legislative branch. So the people of the judicial branch cannot ever have too much power because they are confirmed by the other 2 branches of government. The judicial branch is also responsible for upholding the law of the land. If they feel like legislation has passed a law that is not fair, they can overpower it and demand that it is unrighteous and unfair. So the legislative branch passes laws, and the judicial branches make sure that they are fair and they are willing to be carried out in the way that America should be. Last is our executive branch. Our executive branch is probably the most popular branch of government, and it's the people that you're going to see more often. As you all already know, our president is Barack Obama and our vice president is Joe Biden. Many members of his cabinet include Hillary Clinton, who is our Secretary of State. There's also a Secretary of Defense, of everything else, and a lot more. There's secretaries all over the place. This is your executive branch. These are the people that you elect every 4 years to serve you, and they're the face of your country. The executive branch has more of a job than just to be the face of the country, though. The president can also issue an executive order. An executive order is a law to be placed in while he is in term, as long as it is fair. The judicial branch, again, can check the powers of the executive branch by deciding whether the law is fair and it pertains to our Constitution. If it is unconstitutional, the president cannot go along with this executive order. Also, the president may be a facehold for war, but the president himself cannot declare war. That is another thing to be determined by the legislative branch, and that is how powers are checked. So as you can see, we have three branches of government. We have your legislative branch. They create all the laws in the land, and to go through all the laws, you're going to have to go through two houses, our House of Representatives and our Senate. That makes up your Congress, and that is how all laws are passed. Next is the judicial branch. The judicial branch decides all the cases in the land and things to be heard. Though many cases make it to the actual Supreme Court justice docket every year, they still have a very large responsibility in deciding what is right and fair in our country. When laws are passed by the legislative branch, the judicial branch will come back and deem if they are constitutional or not, and can uphold or downturn a law if it is not fair. And finally, the executive branch has the power to also make executive orders, and they also have the power to veto if they would like. The president has a large power, the president and his branch have a large power in front of them, and they're also the face of the country. They determine all the laws in the land, and they uphold them, and they definitely make sure things are right. So all three branches of government, as the founding fathers wanted it to be, have all clicked together and balanced each other out. No one branch can go ahead of another. The legislative branch can't go ahead and make 1,000 laws that are unfair. The judicial branch can't do unfair things to people, and they certainly can't make laws themselves. And the executive branch can't go around doing what they want without considering the Constitution that our forefathers made, and also what laws need to be made for the people. So if you want your voice to be heard, go with the legislative branch. If you're dealing with a case, you'll deal with the judicial branch. And finally, what you see every single day on your TV, and that what you elect every 4 years, is your executive branch. Remember, as a citizen of the United States, we've made it very possible to vote whenever you would like, and our representation is through these people. You always must remember to vote, as in the November 2nd elections of 2010 this year, because it's very important that your voice be heard. These three branches of government were made just for you and for the citizens of our country. They have certainly lasted almost 300 years now, and hopefully will last hundreds of years to come. I'm Jenkins, and thank you for learning about our three branches of government.